Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Bang, man. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. You got knocked the fuck out.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine right, jet flying, son of a gun.
I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why'd you take your pants off?
My balls was hot.
My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat your children.
It's time!
What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday, October 12th. I'm your host, Ryan Phoebus, and welcome to another episode of No Bros, All Manos podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about some UFC fights coming up this Saturday, as well as some ONE FC fights coming up a couple weeks, but I feel like that they're worth talking about because I feel like there are going to be plenty of exciting bouts on there. We'll also get into some fights that I think that were announced recently that I think are worth mentioning and worth talking about. Just a little quick touch base on those. But before we get into all that, I need you guys to like and subscribe to the video, hit that notification bell. It really helps the channel out. I really greatly appreciate it. But yeah, let's jump right into it. First up on the docket today, we got UFC Fight Night 212 that goes down this Saturday in Las Vegas. It is titled Grasso versus Araujo. And let's jump right into that main event. Alexa Grasso takes on Viviane Araujo in a flyweight contest. Going straight into it, Grasso's coming in at number 5, 14-3 on a 3-fight win streak. She's coming off, she's 3-fight win streak coming after the loss to the champ Carla Esparza. Araujo is coming in at number 8, coming in at 11-3 on 3-1 in her last 4. The odds going into this fight, we got Alexa Grasso minus 225, Araujo plus 185. That's through the MGM sportsbook. This should be a good fight. I got Araujo with her Muay Thai style, good striking, good power. She likes to keep coming forward, even under fire. She's got great control once she gets you down to the ground. Seen in some of her previous bouts. Especially the Andrea Lee one, which is a great fight. She got knocked down twice in the first round, was able to continue to push back and secure the win in that one. And then you got Grasso. She has great boxing, great kicks, her footwork in or out. She's never really stuck in no man's land. She likes to either be in range to where she can land her strikes, or she likes to be out of range, but still is able to counter effectively from that range. Going into this fight, I think that the power advantage is in Araujo's hands. I think that the overall boxing skill, though, is with Grasso. I think that she has a faster hands. I think she has more diversified attacks. I think that she mixes it up more. She likes to throw that it'll be low, that front leg calf kick, and then she brings it up either to the body, then immediately after, or to the head. I think it's a really deceptive technique, and we saw in the Andrea Lee fight that Araujo is kind of susceptible to front leg attacks from her opponent, as she ate a few front kicks in that fight with Andrea Lee. So we'll see how she goes and approaches this fight coming in against Grasso. I think really, who is going to be able to impose their will is really is going to be the key factor of this fight. I think that that's a main thing in a lot of fights, but these two ladies, I think they're so evenly balanced on the feet. It's a speed versus power striking match, and who is going to lead this dance? Is it going to be Araujo pushing forward and Grasso having to fight off the back foot, which she can do? She's not elite at it. There are not many elite fighters that can fight off their back foot. There's a few, but not many. She's going to have to fight that way to make it through this contest. It would be interesting to see. But if I had to just make a pick, I would probably lean towards the favorite Grasso by decision. She's never been a knockout girl, so I don't think that's going to be the case. But I just think she's going to use her footwork, her timing. I think her speed is going to be too much of a factor, and I think that she could pull off the decision. But just as a caveat, I mean, I think Alexa Grasso could be one of the most marketable fighters in female fighting for the UFC if she just had more knockout power. um, honestly, we'll see. It should be a great fight. Let's jump into the next fight on the card. We got Cub Swanson taking on Jonathan Martinez. This is a bantamweight affair. We got Swanson coming in with a record of 28-12, coming in off the win over Darren Elkins with a beautiful head kick KO. But he's to be noticed. He is 2-6 in his last 8 fights. Martinez, on the other hand, coming in 16-4, 3-fight win streak. Yeah, Cub Swanson, the legend. He's fought the who's who of the featherweight division in his heyday. I think that it's safe to say that his prime is behind him. And I think he's trying to make that last little push, if any, to see how far he can actually take this. It's pretty clear to me that he's still, or at least with his last fight, that he loves fighting. I think it's just, can his body continue to do this at the level that he wants to fight at? Um, you know, 2-6 in the last 8. It's starting to stack up the losses more than you are the wins, which is when it starts to get scary. Not to say the Cubs wants to be counted out, because I mean we are talking about one of the legends of the division, former title challenger back in the day. Um, you know, And for Martinez, I think he's trying to keep the ball rolling. I mean, 3-fight win streak against pretty solid competition. I think with a win here, he could, crack into those top 15 guys, and we'll see how it looks for him. I Looking at the odds, we got Swanson coming in at the underdog at plus 185, and we got Martinez coming in at minus 225. I would probably have to agree with the odds makers on this one. I think I would take Martinez either by decision or KO. I think that just he's younger, faster. He appeared to me he might have a little bit of a size advantage. The power, I think, still could lie with Swanson, as he's always been a pretty powerful, packed a little bit of a punch. I just think, though, that the speed of Martinez, the youth, and just the age is going to play a factor for Swanson. I think that Martinez gets it done in this one, either by decision or KO. Into probably the sleeper fight, the next one of the whole card, the one that nobody's really talking about, but it should end up being one of the best one. We got Askar Askarov taking on Brandon Royval in a flyweight contest here. Askarov coming in at 14-1-1, coming off the loss to Kai France, which was his first career loss inside the UFC. Then we got Royval coming in at 14-6, 2-fight win streak after back-to-back losses to the champ Brandon Moreno and Alex Pantoja. He's trying to bounce back and keep the ball rolling. This, I think, could be the fight of the night card, fight of the night on the card. These two guys, tops of their division, I think they're both ranked inside the top. I know Askar Askarov is right inside the top 5. I believe Royval is inside the top 10 at minimum. Askarov, great boxer, great wrestler, likes to push forward, control his opponent, mat returns, lots of ground and pound, he's like the flyweight version of Colby Covington, if I had to pick somebody to compare him to, that people may be more familiar with. Very big on the mat return, pushes forward. Like I said, his wrestling is, he's got that Russian style to where it's not so much the low leg attack, but it's more about how you control the balance of your opponent, and maintain position. And as for Royval, I think that he has the power advantage in this fight, if I had to guess. He's also, very dangerous in his grappling. He's got great submissions. His guillotine is nasty. Both guys, tough as nails, will push forward. This should be an all-action affair. Odds makers have it at Askarov minus 250, Royval plus 200. If I honestly had to say, I would put the odds a little bit closer. I would honestly put it more towards like the Askarov at probably minus 190, and I put Royval probably closer to the 150 range. Uh, both these guys are really good. If I just had to pick, I honestly, I might pick. I think I'm going to pick Royval to win this one. I think that he's got the power. I think that he's got the grappling ability to hold off Askarov into not allow too many of the takedowns. And the ones he does, I think that he'll be able to get up off the bottom, pose a serious submission threat enough to Askarov to not want to, stay there in idle territory on the ground to where he can allow Royval to set these things up. I think that on the feet, Askarov's going to push forward, but I think that uh, he will figure out real quickly that Royval's got some power back there, and he will have to pick his shots a lot closer. So yeah, I think I'm going to take Royval in this one. By method, I think if I had to guess, probably by decision. Um, yeah, I don't. It's hard to call knockouts in the flyweight, honestly, because most of the time these guys really truly don't pack, that one shot KO power. So yeah, let's jump into the next fight. We got Jordan Wright taking on Todor Todorovic. Can't even butcher that whole name up. Sorry, guys. Just call him Drusko. Wright coming in 12-3, 1-3 in his last four. That win in that stint though was against Jamie Pickett. Then we got Drusko coming in similarly 11-3, 1-3 in his last four with that lone win over Maki Pitolo. This fight is either going to be a decision, a slow burnout decision, or it's going to be a KO pretty early on. Just thinking about these guys, they both kind of fight. Sometimes they leave that chin just sitting out there. And both these guys pack power, and I think that both these guys are really trying to get a win. You know, Dana and the other guys up top, they really don't like to see you go on, 3-fight, 4-fight losing skids. Um, there is a precedent of fighters, of course, going longer, but when you're not really the namesake that sells the fight, or there's not much leeway, I guess is what I'm trying to say, for taking a bunch of losses in a row. The odds makers have this one at Drusko minus 225, right at plus 175. Um, I think who's going to land the big shot first, and if it's not there, who's going to control the wrestling? Um, both guys are pretty good in the clinch up against the fence. I think it's just who's going to control the geography there will be the determining factor. If I had to pick, I'd probably take Wright the underdog. I just think that he's shown in the past the will to win a little bit more than Drusko has, in my opinion. Not that Drusko doesn't want to win, but I just think that the guy who pushes harder uh, for that, or that has just shown the more promise, I guess you could say, the higher ceiling to me has been Jordan Wright of the two. So I'm just going to take Jordan Wright in this one. And on to the next fight. We got a banger here. We got Alonzo Menafield taking on Misha Serkinov. This fight will end in a KO. I'm just going to tell you this one will. This is a middleweight affair. Menafield coming in at 12-3, 3-1 in his last four. KO in his last one. And we got Serkinov 15-8 on a 3-fight losing skid, 2-6 in his last 8. The chin is starting to go for Serkinov. It's kind of obvious, and the promise of Menafield is only going up. I think that this fight is probably going to end in a knockout, like I said. I think Menafield just possesses too much power, and I think that he's going to push Serkinov behind the black line in the octagon and impose his will. I don't see this one going the distance. I see this one ending either first round or quickly into the second round. I just don't think that. I don't think Serkinov is going to be able to handle the power. Menafield looking to keep it rolling. 3-1, looking to make it 4-1 in his last 5, and Serkinov just really needs a win. If he's going to do it, he's going to have to stay active. He cannot allow Menafield to push him behind that black line and control the fence. I think he's got to close the distance and be all the way in or all the way out. Menafield is too powerful to just hang around with your chin up in the air, or not moving your head off the center line in these exchanges. You do not want to make this a dogfight. You want to try and fight this fight at range if you're Serganov, which is going to be hard um, against somebody who has such explosive power like Alonzo Benefield. Um, but in all, most likely, I'm picking Benefield by KO in this fight. On to the next one on the fight card. We got Mana Martinez versus Brandon Davis. This is a bantamweight fight. Mana coming in at 9-3, 1-1 in his UFC campaign. Davis coming in at 14-9, coming off a loss in his UFC return after going 2-5 in his first stint in the UFC. Both guys just really need a win. Davis is not a bad fighter. Let's just put that out there right now. He's not a bad fighter. He's just fought some of the toughest guys. When you go back and look at his record, who he's lost to, he's lost to Sabit, he's lost to Sandhagen, and maybe he was just pushed too hard. I mean, he came off the Dana White's Contender Series, and I think his second fight in, he's fighting Zabit. Now, granted, maybe we didn't know that Zabit at the time was Zabit, and that's Zabit Magomed Sharipov, the former featherweight title top 4 guy who's retired recently. You know, maybe he just got pushed too hard, and he kind of just had that losing stint. So he took walked away, got some wins at a more regional promotion, came back, and his first fight back took a loss. He really needs to bounce back on this one. So I'm just gonna be honest, you get cut again, it's probably not in the cards for you, sir. Mana, the young kid, 1-1 in his campaign. Not a bad fighter, fast, good striking. Should be a good fight, not a bad affair. The odds makers got it at Davis plus 135, Mana at minus 155. If I had to pick, I'd probably take Mana by decision. I just think that the youth there, this kid is hungrier. You know, Davis has more experience, but it's hard to pick a guy that is going on his second stint in the UFC. Against a kid that's younger, faster. I think a little bit better striker as well. So I'm gonna pick Mana. I think he gets it done in this one. And then the last one I want to talk about on this card, it's not. I don't think it's on the main. It's going to be on the main card, but could not talk about this guy. We got Rafael Sunsao taking on Victor Henry at bantamweight. Henry coming in at 22-5, 1-0 in the UFC, but lots of experience outside of the UFC. He's not young at 35, but if he's going to make a push in this, probably I would say the most stacked division now in the UFC at bantamweight, he's got to do it now, being 35, and he's taken on the experienced vet Rafael Sunsao, who was 1-4 in his last 5 on a 4-fight losing skid. Let's just be very clear. This is either win for Rafael Sunsao or it's probably cut or time to hang him up. Sunsao, good striker, but the chin is clearly starting to go. He's starting to take a lot of damage. The mileage is getting up there. I think Henry is, he's not young, but I think he's, starting to finally accept, that he can do this, that he can fight at this high level. And I just think that this could just be a bad matchup for a Sunsao. The odds makers have it at Henry minus 350, Sunsao plus 260. Yeah, I don't like the odds for Sunsao in this one. I just don't think that he has the speed anymore to keep up with some of these guys at the bantamweight division. So if I had to pick, I'd probably pick Victor Henry here to take this one. I don't know the method, but I feel pretty confident saying that Victor Henry is going to win this one. And yeah, I think that it's just time for a Sunsao to hang him up. He's had a stellar career. Take nothing away from the guy. Let me pull up who Rafael Sunsao has fought, because I'm pretty sure this guy has fought some of the who's of this division in his heyday. This is kind of on the fly here, but let's pull this guy up. Rafael Sunsao. When did he make his debut in the UFC? So he made his UFC debut. Well, first he fought with the WEC in 2009. His UFC debut came in 2011, March of 2011. So 12 years into his career. Let's look at some of these names that he has put up wins against. He's got a win over TJ Dillashaw, Pedro Munoz, Aljamain Sterling, Marlon Moraes, Rob Font. Well, that is some of the top of the division. Um, you know, he's fought the top guys. It's safe to say. He's also lost to some of the top guys. He has lost to Uriah Faber, of course, TJ Dillashaw. He lost to Moraes in their rematch, and he lost to Sandhagen, Garbrandt, and Ricky Simone. Um, yeah, it's probably time if he takes another loss here, especially since they're starting to become KOs more frequently. Um, yeah, that's a you know I wouldn't be surprised. It would be nice if he wins this fight. Of course, it would be awesome for him to win this fight and maybe go out on a win. But yeah, I'm just not liking his chances personally. But he's had a fantastic career. Take nothing away from the guy. He is, like I said, truly been in there against the best of the best. Um, but yeah, overall, this card, pretty good card. Should be good fights throughout the night. I would call this one more of the hardcore fan card because of the name value that's on there. They don't seem to be the names that pop, but the uh, the fighters are there. The quality of fighter is there. Um, yeah, let's jump into the next thing I want to talk about. The next big thing I want to talk about. We got ONE FC uh, fights all October 21st. We have an AM card that day and a PM card that is a Friday. We have one 162 at 8:30 in the morning, and then we have one on Prime 3 that evening at 8:30 p.m. I want to jump into just a few fights on both AM and PM card. So on the morning card, I want to talk a little bit about Nieky Holzkin versus Islam Murtazayev. This is a lightweight kickboxing fight. Um, this should be a good fight. Nieky Holzkin's a really good kickboxer. Fast hands, great head kick, great low kick. As most Muay Thai and kickboxing fighters are. And Islam is looking to be the face of Dagestani kickboxing. Can a Dagestani start to emerge now, popping out into the Muay Thai and kickboxing scene after, as most of us know, usually being predominantly some of the best wrestlers in the world, can they really start to adapt striking heavy styles and really start to make waves there? That should be a great fight to watch. That is on the morning card. And the other one I want to talk about is Jimmy Benoit versus Nicholas Larson. This is a featherweight Muay Thai fight on the morning card. Both these guys are coming off the title fight. One of the fighters from the title fight, we got Benoit's coming off a loss to Pekmorikat, but Benoit is no slouch himself. I mean, he's a great striker, looking to bounce back. And Larson coming off his loss to Tawanchai, your champ now, after he defeated Pekmorikat in their fight 2 weekends ago now. Both guys are great strikers. I mean, when you watch these Muay Thai guys fight on one, I mean, especially at the top level, the ones that are fighting for the titles, and these guys that are moving up towards title challengers, the striking is just phenomenal. Uh, Great fights to watch. Uh, both guys have got just accurate. That's the main thing about that I take away from most of these Muay Thai fighters. They're just so accurate. The timing, the combinations you don't typically see in MMA, them fired off so rapidly. Granted, the rule set kind of plays a factor, but these both those fights should be fun to watch. Don't really know who to pick a winner. I'm not feeling confident enough to pick a winner in either of those fights, but I can tell you right now, both of them are going to be great fights to watch. And for the PM card, we've got to talk about this one. I mean, these two guys are legends. We got Superlek Kiapmu taking on Panpayak Jitmunan. This is the flyweight Muay Thai Grand Prix Championship. This is the 8th fight between these two guys. Panpayak leads the affair 4-2-1. Um, this is the first time I'd ever heard of two fighters having an eighth fight between them. I mean, this is unheard of. You rarely see in boxing or in any other fight promotion or style of a fighter getting. You rarely see a trilogy, let alone a quadrilogy, let alone an eighth fight between them. I'm gonna put the a link to the seventh fight, which is on YouTube as well, in the description down below, so you guys can watch it. These guys are some of the best strikers on the world. I mean, it's undeniable. These guys are fantastic. They're both so young too, which is just incredible. Both 26 years old. Listen to the records of these two guys because it's kind of unbelievable. These guys have 378 wins between the two of them. Panpayak, 26 years old, 292 fights, a record of 248 wins, 41 losses, 3 draws with 35 knockouts. Okay. And then we have Superlek, 26 years old, 163 fights, 130, 29, and 4 with 14 KOs. I mean, guys, these are crazy records, but that's just how the ties are. They fight constantly. Um, you know, this fight is just going to be amazing. These guys are they're so high level. The fighters that they beat going into to meet into this championship, both legit competition, elite level. Both guys that they had fight just to get in here have been former title challengers or fought the world champions or fought the best of the best. I mean, these guys are the creme de la creme when it comes to Muay Thai. Um, you know, Panpayak, it's in his family. His brother was a legend. Superlek, he's a legend out of his gym. Again, it's just rare you see a fighters that fight 7, 8 times in a career outside of the gym itself, whether they're training partners, but an actual competition, 8 fights between two guys. That's incredible. Do not miss the eighth one. Um, that is on the PM card. But the other fight I want to talk about on this card, we have the former UFC fighter John Lineker taking on Fabricio Andrade. This is for the featherweight MMA World Championship. This is the main event. Lineker, your former UFC fighter. This is his first title defense. He's on a 4-fight win streak. Andrade, 7-fight win streak, but against a lot of experienced competition. Some of the guys that he was fighting had 20, 30 career wins before while he was fighting them. Um, you know, Andrade, he's good, man. I mean, these guys are both good. Lineker, he's got that boxing style. He'll use the Tyson peekaboo to really explode. He's got great wrestling, closes in, got a good clinch against the Finch. Andrade, very dynamic fighter. He's only been in one decision since he's been in one. Everything else has been a finish. If I had to pick a winner in this one, I'd probably pick Lineker, just for the experience. But I would completely not be surprised if Andrade pulled this off. The younger guy, the longer, lankier of the two. Um, this should be a good fight. This should be a good fight. And the other one, if I had to pick, yeah, let me go back. I forgot to mention. If I had to pick a winner between Superlek and Panpayak, I'd probably stick with the series leader in Panpayak. I just think he's a little bit faster. But man, this one FC card, these two fights on that night card are must watch TV. I mean, especially this Superlek versus Panpayak. I cannot speak enough high praise about these guys. I mean, these guys, the striking of these two is just phenomenal. It's must see TV in my opinion. Let's get into our third and final topic. I guess let's talk about some fight announcements that have been recently made. Um, we got some good ones coming up that have just recently been talked about. The first one I want to talk about, Jan Blachowicz is taking on Magomed Ankalaev. That is going down December 10th at UFC 282. Safe to say the winner of this is probably going to get the title shot after the rematch between Glover and Yuri. Both these guys definitely at the top of the division. Magomed Ankalaev, has been pushing for this title shot. I believe he's undefeated in the UFC. If not, if at worst, he's got one loss. Jan Blachowicz, of course, your former champ. This should be a great fight. I don't even know who to pick in this one. You know, I just think both guys could easily win this fight. Um, who's going to implement the wrestling? Who's going to win the striking battle? We'll see. Next one that was recently announced, we got the old man fight. Alexander Gustafsson taking on OSP Oven St. Preux. This will also go down at UFC 282. Maybe a retirement fight for both these guys. I don't know. It's just late in the career. This is the old man fight that both these guys deserve. Um, and they frankly both need. Um, you know, both these guys, the mileage has been there. Both these guys have fought for the title. They fought both these guys right here. We got DC and let's see, John Jones right over there. They've both fought. They fought both these guys, and honestly, if it wasn't for either of those two guys up there, I'd probably say that I would definitely say that Gustafsson could have been champion. OSP probably too, but they just happened to fight at the time. Two of the best to ever do it. Um, it should be a good fight. It should be a good fight. Might be a little boring, but these two guys, it's just they're getting up there in age. What can you expect? Um, but good for them. Hopefully, going out on a fight that both these guys can be proud of. And again, that's going down December 10th at UFC 282. Next one that recently got announced, we got Pavlovic taking on Tai Tuivasa. Tai jumping right out of the fight of Cyril Gane and getting another um, sound striker. We got another fight. Sergey Pavlovich is kind of like more. He's got a little bit of the Gane, not so much light on the feet, but is a technical striker. And Ty, of course, more the brawler type. See if he can make those adjustments um, and to learn how to be in or out in this before he goes into this fight. This is going down December 3rd, UFC Fight Night, Orlando. Not sure if it's going to be a main event or not, but either way, you can always expect fireworks when the heavyweights step inside the octagon. This should be a good one. This should be a good one. Keep an eye on this one. And then next one I want to talk about. This is a fight that I'm probably most excited about are the ones we're going to talk about. We got Jeff Neal taking on Shavkat Rakhmonov, January 14th, UFC Fight Night Vegas, the first fight of the new year. These guys were chirping back and forth at each other on Twitter. They wanted it. The UFC delivers it. This fight is awesome. Jeff Neal coming off of a big win over Vicente Luque. I mean, he just looked on point in that fight. And of course, we got the boogeyman of the division, Shavkat Rakhmonov, the undefeated Nepalese, I believe, or either Nepalese or Mongolian fighter. The Nomad, they call him, is his nickname. This should be a great fight. Jeff Neal has never faced a fighter like Shavkat Rakhmonov that uses the wrestling the way that Shavkat does, how he never really commits to being on his knees and pushing forward, kind of like Islam Makhachev. No, he fights more so from the uses kind of like the Khabib ground and pound, where he'll put the knee on chest or he'll hand on chest and fight sort of from a crouched standing position almost when he gets on top. But he's also got good striking, good mixing up of the leg kicks, the head kicks. This is going to be a banger of a fight. And we'll find out really this is the fight I think we'll find out just how good these two really are, because you can expect fireworks. The striking is going to be there. Will Jeff Neal's takedown defense hold up against Shavkat? We'll answer a lot of questions in this fight. I highly look forward to this. Of course, like I said, this is on the first fight card of the new year, January 14th. Last one I want to talk about, and this is a good one. We got Stephen Thompson taking on our boy Kevin Holland, December 3rd, UFC Fight Night, Orlando. Great fight. They're finally giving Kevin Holland a striker. Stephen Thompson getting one of the young lions later on in his career, also a striker. Yeah, I'm excited for this one. This is going to be a stand-up affair. Whose striking is better? We'll find out. Of course, we got Stephen Thompson, very hard to emulate, in the training room. So a guy who bounces around. Is the speed still there? Is the footwork still there? At his age, he's been doing this so long now. I tend to think that he's still got some competent skill. And of course, we got, Holland coming off that loss to Chimaev. Never really got going in that one, obviously, but they haven't given him a striker to face in a while, if ever. So, I feel good for him coming off the payday that he rumored that he supposedly got off that fight. Getting another good one against Steven Thompson. I'm excited for that one. Should be a good affair. Um, that's about do it. Like and subscribe, guys. Leave a comment. Share with your friends, family. Let's try and keep this ball rolling. I'm gonna keep doing these things. I like to keep doing them. I like to talk about these fights. Yeah, like I said, like and subscribe, and that's gonna be it. This is episode 3. Signing out.